to Let's Play Gran Turismo 2, Episode 12. So, you may remember in the previous segment we notably completed the Japanese National Championships, or Japan Nationals if you are playing the Zetec-SE version, and, of course, as you may have noticed, with the first page of events, essentially like of course with the first couple of events in the special events, we did not receive any prize cars, unfortunately. Well, not yet anyway. And well, you may remember that I also said of course I was going to only be using 3 cars for the National Championships, and this of course is essentially one of them for the next championship. It is of course the concept car, aka the Copperhead. So we're going to head back over to the race events, and hopefully if it's possible my car should be eligible for all 3 of these races. And also, furthermore, we are going to Laguna Seca for all 3 of these races, because oddly enough, Laguna Seca itself is actually an American racetrack. So let's head to the first one and see how we do. Even though I would imagine, considering the circumstances for the 3rd race, I probably will need to do some tuning, because I'm fairly confident I will not win the 3rd race without some tuning. But anyways, let's see how we go for race number 1 at Laguna Seca. Regarding my circumstances, it will probably be easy, but at the same time I have a feeling I'll probably fuck up somewhere. So we have 2 KAs in this field, and I think we also have a Ford Puma in this race. Along of course with a Focus. And I am already up into the lead. So if I would know me, I think the first race is probably going to be piss easy. Because I clearly have an OP car here. Compared of course to the AI. So I would imagine the first race is probably going to be easy. Regarding the circumstances, as I of course am currently in the lead. But again, this AI are managing to keep up with my Copperhead relatively easily at the moment, even though I am just edging away slightly. At least for certain parts of the lap I'm edging away. And I think I can see where exactly I'm edging away. Because in this car, I'm basically edging away on the straights, but again, they're managing to catch me again through the corners. At least through the difficult corners anyway. And, well, as far as the field itself is concerned, I would imagine it's mostly Fords in the field, but I'm not sure about the other one, because I would probably imagine the other one is respectively is respectively either another Dodge or probably a Chevrolet, but I don't know for sure who the other one is. As we now head through the corkscrew for the second and final time on this run. And I of course am very much making this one look easy. Oh, okay, I'm getting a push. I definitely got a push from the KA there, or Ka, if you want it to be the way it's pronounced. But anyways, I have won race 1 by just over a second, and apparently there might be the only other car here that was not a Ford was surprisingly a Dodge Avenger. So we had 2 Kas in this field, along of course with a Ford Puma, and we also had a Ford Focus Zetec in this field as well. And apparently there might be, I think the Avenger was probably way behind, but anyways. Victory in race 1. As I get 4 grand for winning. And now of course we are going to see how the other 2 races plan out. Let's head to race 2. Considering, I would imagine the AI that I would be going up against in this race will probably be on par with my horsepower, with the horsepower I have, and hopefully if it's possible they can give me a potentially competitive run, but anyways, let's see how we go. Time for race 2 at Laguna Seca. Okay, so we've got a Plymouth in this field. We've also got, I think, a Ford Kuga with a Ford Mondeo, aka the Ford Contour. And yep, that is definitely a Dodge back there. I'm sure it's a Dodge. And yep, we have got a Mustang in this field as well. So we have a Mondeo in this field, we have a Mustang in this field, along with a Plymouth PT Spyder, and we also have a Ford Taurus in this field as well, as I officially take the lead in the Copperhead. Essentially the one-off concept car to the Dodge Viper that Chrysler, unfortunately, had never officially put into production, comparative of course with the Dodge Viper that was notably in production for about 26 years. And shifting up into third whilst I'm in the middle of corkscrew because I figured that was necessary. And of course, we are now coming by to complete the lap as we approach the final corner. And I'm definitely sliding on the exit, but somehow still holding the lead. As I do. And everything at the moment is currently going a-okay. But dependent on knowing if I will be able to win the third race with this car at its stock range or not remains to be seen. But at the moment, things are currently going well with the Copperhead. I have not officially had any massive falters yet, but I have a feeling sooner or later I probably will do, because I'm almost guaranteed to basically make a mistake sooner or later. Everything staying smooth at the moment. And at the moment, respectively, I would have probably said, Ed, with both myself and the Plymouth PT, we're basically leading this field 1-2 at the moment. So, strategically speaking, it's basically a 1-2 at the moment for Chrysler. Considering obviously Plymouth itself was notably another brand owned by Chrysler, and ironically enough Dodge still is. But anyways, we emerge with victory in race 2, driving the Copperhead in its stock range, and quite surprisingly, it was basically Ford versus Chrysler in that field. So overall in this field, we notably had a Ford Mustang, a Dodge Intrepid, a Ford Mondeo, and we also had a Ford Taurus SHO in this field. And as for the Plymouth, we did eventually manage to hold on to subsequently finishing second. So a 1-2 for Chrysler. Let's fucking go. As I now receive a further $5,000 for winning the race. And now of course, I am officially going to save a replay. This one of course being segment number 12. And hopefully, if it is possible, we shall be successful. So, for race 3, I'm not entirely certain on knowing if I will win this one using my Copperhead at a stock range, but I'll give it a go, and we'll basically just wait and see what happens. Considering obviously I would imagine I'm going to be UP in this race, underpowered. But we'll give it a go and we'll just wait and see what happens. Okay, let's try that again. Except this time not run into the back of the leader on the exit of corkscrew, and also not attempt to make a pass in the final corner and suddenly just end up in the wall, but somehow still finishing second. This is attempt number 2, and of course, if I don't finish first this time, then obviously I probably will need to do some tuning. Attempt number 2 of race number 3. And just as I predicted, the Shelby is officially in this field, as we have a Dodge Challenger along with 2 Shelby Mustangs. And I of course am already off to a poor getaway, because I had lots of typical rear-wheel drive wheel spin. As I'm now already overtaken the Challenger, 2 Shelby Mustangs, I've managed to pass both of those. The Corvette Gran Sport is here, as I'm already forcing my way down the inside, because I have to. And the Shelby at the moment is currently leading this race, but I'm hoping this time I can maybe give myself some redemption from what I did on my previous attempt in this race, because, well, I clearly fucked up on my previous attempt. And I think I just fucked up again. Oh, I'm on the inside. Or at least I was on the left side. I'm now up into the lead. But again, the Shelby is coming back at me. And I was not expecting that to happen. Well, obviously he was on the right side, so I think it's debatable to see who was clearly at fault for the incident. But, well, as for me, I'm basically just following the racing line. And it looks like the Corvette just overtook the Shelby Series 1, but again, the Shelby is coming back. And we have the Mustangs just behind, and it also looks like at the back we still have the Challenger. In terms of the running order, and also it looks like the Mustangs are attacking the Vette for a potential third place, and well, as for the Challenger, he's basically just biding at the moment. At least I think he's biding. Either that or he's basically just staying behind. And I think that was the Corvette that almost spun there. And I think this time I may have potentially secured victory. We'll just have to wait and see though. I'm holding on to the inside line, and yep, I think the Shelby almost made me go into the wall, but thankfully he did not. Fuck you! It is a victory! Still, I must be sad. That was one hell of a finish. I literally won that event by just over 1.5 tenths ahead of the Shelby Series 1 for my redemption of the second place I previously got. Then we had the Corvette Gran Sport in third, followed by the two Shelby Mustang GT350s, and the Dodge Challenger was at the back, basically just staying out of the fight, pretty much. But anyways, there we go. And from what I can work out, I've already saved a replay. And I should probably also save the game as well. Considering obviously I don't think I did that in the previous segment, but again, I could be wrong. Excuse me. But in spite of that, let's wait and see how this goes. Just gonna check and see if I've already saved a replay, and yes I have. I have saved a replay. And now of course, I'm officially up to over 61 grand in terms of my overall funding. So, surprisingly, in spite of my one loss against the Shelby Series 1 in that third race, I still managed to officially win the race overall by making less mistakes. So again, no prize cars as of yet, but obviously, as you can see there, my win ratio has now gone down to 90%. Mainly because obviously I lost on my first attempt in the third race, but somehow I did manage to come back for redemption. And in the end of it, we are now 8.21% complete. And so the next event, as far as I know, I think is the French Nationals. Yeah, I think it's probably the French Nationals, but I'll have to look. But anyways, that was the US Nationals Championship. Next up, I allegedly believe is probably the French National Championships. But until then, stay tuned for more GT2.